We head out now to the state of Nevada, where Republicans are showing up in massive numbers. Right now, early voting, 24,000 more Republicans have voted than Democrats. And I bet this guy knows a little bit about how all that's going from a more data detail oriented position. He is Captain Sam Brown. We want all of you to go vote for him as he is running for the Senate in Nevada. And Captain Brown, appreciate the time. I know you're sprinting through the finish line here, but what are you seeing right now as early voting is underway in Nevada? What is the data telling you?
Thanks for having me on. And yes, this is a sprint, but the data is showing that this is a historic turnout. And when I say historic, I mean in the last 20 years, Republicans have never led during early vote. Let me just underscore that. Republicans have never led. And every day of early vote, Republicans are gaining more and more ground and building our lead. We have won in the past on Election Day, but to go, we keep this trend up. We'll go into Election Day with a margin that I just don't think there's any way the Democrats will be able to catch back up. And one way President Trump put it was, when he wins Nevada, he wins the White House. The same is true in my race against very liberal Harry Reid protege Jackie Rosen. When I beat Jackie Rosen, Republicans are guaranteed to take back the Senate majority and ensure that we can get an America First agenda passed through Congress.
Hey, Sam, thank you so much for being with us. And, of course, thank you for your service, sir, to the country. The difference in Nevada this time around, I mean, if you were just to kind of encapsulate the mindset of the voters in your state this time versus, let's say, 2020 and 2016, it's looking good for Republicans, as you noted. How much of that is just Kamala Harris is a pretty uniquely awful candidate, and how much is they're sick of the Democrat machinery, they want Donald Trump back? I mean, I just wonder if you can give us a snapshot. I'll be honest, I haven't been to Nevada this year, so I'm going to be there next year pretty early. What are people saying?
Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you this. I think there's a couple of factors going on, and one is, it wasn't that long ago that we had President Trump in the White House, and people were doing much better economically. We had a secure border. We didn't have, no new wars were started. We weren't, in these kind of endless war situations. We were seeing peace in the Middle East achieved. So we don't have a too distant memory of a much better life than we've had these last 4 years. And so the way that, if I'm going to kind of put on my professorial hat for a moment, because you've got such an intelligent audience here, I know they can keep track. Republicans are extremely motivated to turn out. Independents are, and they're kind of our classic, swing voters. They remember what things were like under President Trump. They've been negatively impacted. I'll put it to you this way. The average household here is paying $1,200 a month more now than we were 4 years ago. We've got a lot of folks who can't afford to buy a home now that they could have bought 4 or 5 years ago. And so the swing voters know that, and they're voting. And we're seeing breaking in the polls. Independents are pulling ahead for Trump and for me in the Senate race. And the Democrats, I do think there's just a lack of motivation. Kamala Harris is a uniquely terrible candidate. She can't even make an
Yes.
argument for herself. She can't tell you one thing that she would do differently than Joe Biden. She can't answer softball questions from CNN in any sort of intelligent way. So I think that, the right sort of Democrat candidate could still motivate someone to come out. But I don't know anyone who's excited to vote for her as a Democrat.
Sam, if I remember correctly, last time you were on, you said your mom has great taste in media and listens to the show. So I want you to get a chance to say hi to her. But I'm curious, just from a human perspective, my mom blows my text messages up all the time about what we do. What's it like to run for the Senate? Like, does your mom, is she always like, hey, you were great in this, or you need to do more of this? What's it like to have a mom who is plugged in, like it sounds like your mom is? And I'll give you a chance to say hi to her, and we thank her for listening as well.
Yeah, no, moms are incredible, and mother, I know you texted me this morning that you're looking forward to me being on the show, and just love you. But look, here's the way that my mother and I's relationship works, and we're really really close, and we don't even have to talk all the time to be close. She spent those first 6 months with me after I got blown up. This is before I met Amy, my wife now, the last 15 years, and her and my mother kind of did this handoff after I met Amy, and my mother, after 6 months, returned back home, and Amy kind of, we got married, and she took over my recovery period. But she's always been close and has kind of followed me. She does text me often, but the most important thing is she prays. She prays a lot, and we have that common bond of faith. And so I'm just really grateful for her. And I'll go another step further. This isn't just about my mother or my wife. I believe that this election, the women of this country will be the deciding factor, and not because of the reasons that the Democrats think, because we have so many strong moms, wives, grandmas, sisters out there that they see what's happening. They see the attack on this country. Many of them are the ones who are, checking the checkbook, seeing how much is left in the bank account, going to the grocery stores. Some are sadly having to put groceries back on the shelves. They see the attack of our border. They see the attack, women's sports. I mean, we've got a situation here at the University of Nevada at Reno where the girls' volleyball team had to stand up for themselves and say, we're not going to play against biological males.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up. For people out there who are not paying attention to this, because Outkick, the site that I sold to Fox a couple of years ago, we've been driving this. Riley Gaines, who a lot of people know, what's happening in Nevada that the Democrats are trying to do to these girls who are saying, no, we're not going to play against a boy who is identifying as a girl, I believe, on the San Jose State University volleyball team. You are really plugged in with that story. I saw you just tweeting about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, look, first let me just say how proud I am of these young women, these athletes, for standing up for themselves. There is so much pressure. You wouldn't believe the amount of pressure they are under to just conform and accept that biological males should be allowed to compete in their sport. But they've taken a stand when we have, politicians or, even leadership of the university hiding behind, laws that they are saying, protects this. The reality is one of the laws here in the state of Nevada that was passed, the Democrat Senate majority leader, in testimony about the law before it was passed, said, no, this wouldn't actually cover this situation. But they want to hide behind that now, and these women are standing up for themselves. They are forfeiting a game that could impact their standing or will impact their standing in the conference, but they're willing to do that for future women athletes. And I think this is clearly the right thing to do. And the amazing thing is we had one Senate debate. The moderators brought this up to my opponent, Senator Jackie Rosen. And the amazing thing is she said, you know what? I think this is an issue that should be handled at a local level by the universities or conferences. This isn't something that DC politicians ought to get into. And I looked at her, I was shocked. And I said, oh my goodness, we finally found the one thing that Senator Rosen doesn't think the federal government should be involved in. But she doesn't even have the decency to admit what we all know is common sense, that when men play in women's sports, it's not safe, it's not fair, and there's also an element of a lack of privacy that should be expected. This is a common sense thing to do, is say that men should not be playing in women's sports. And she couldn't do it. But look, it's an important issue here. It's an important issue nationally. It's an important issue for women. And if folks in this audience want to help us, as we are surging in the polls right now, they go to sendinsam.com. Everything helps. And Chuck Schumer believes that he's about to lose this race because he just put another $4.5 million into a race that they were already outspending us 3-1.
Sam, we certainly hope that Nevadans are going to come forward and do the right, the smart, and the wise thing here and put you forward into Congress. I'm just wondering, we've been talking a lot on the show about the masculinity deficit that the Democrats are facing, and they recognize this, right? And the fact even that today Kamala's in Texas doing a podcast and not doing Joe Rogan's podcast is, I think, just one example of this. To do a much smaller podcast that's kind of women and feelings focused. You are a Purple Heart recipient, a combat veteran. And when we start to think about, I know that this is not an ironclad rule. I'm sure there are Democrats who served honorably in combat as well, who are going to be running or have run in the past. But we look down the list, and you've got guys like you got all these former Spec Ops guys. Everybody who seems to have had bullets flying over their heads in the war zones runs as a Republican. Why do you think that is?
I think that I'll speak for myself. I know what sacrifice to this country looks like. I've lost soldiers, friends. My own family has seen deployments from my father, two of my brothers. My wife went to Iraq. Obviously, I went to Afghanistan. And we realized that there's a cost to freedom. There's a cost to the United States of America being a place that we think of as, offering an American dream that people from all over the world want to immigrate to. But the left wants to dismantle the thing that makes the United States unique, makes it great. And we have to fight to preserve it. It's the ideology of the left and the right are just totally different. And I think that's why we see this, because we combat folks understand the cost and the sacrifice of it. But look, let me just say this. I've got friends who are Democrats who are also combat vets and good people. And I'll say this. I think one of the things that will save this country is not just conservatives getting in office. I think we're at the edge of a wave of global war on terror, kind of post 9/11 veterans getting in office, even Democrats. And I'm looking forward to that because, look, there's some places Republicans won't win. But if we can get the right sort of service-minded Democrats in office, and I love veterans, I think that we've got the mentality to be able to work together to look at a bigger mission than ourselves, even in the party, and do the right thing. And obviously I'm for Republicans, but in those places where only Democrats are going to win, man, I sure hope that we can get some more post 9/11 veterans in office.
Get out, vote for him, Captain Sam Brown, Nevada. You guys are pouring to the polls. 24,000 more Republicans so far have voted than Democrats. Put him in the Senate and go ahead and retire Jackie Rosen. Tell your mom we said hi, Sam. We appreciate her listening, and we look forward to talking to you after your election.
Thank you so much. Go to sendinsam.com to support today.
Sendinsam.com. You heard that, sendinsam.com, Nevada. Get moving. Put him in the Senate. Look, it's Friday. We got about 15 minutes left in the show. Some of you may be dragging. We got 15 hours up, almost 15 hours down. We'll be back with you on Monday. You know what I'm doing, Buck? We'll talk about this, have a little fun to close out the show. Halloween party. Travis family Halloween party starts this evening, and then I got to get up early the next morning. And I got to go and do Big Noon, the Fox pregame show. I'm going to be with country music superstar Luke Bryan, raising money for him here in the Nashville area. And that's going to be a long day, too. And you know what I'm going to start with? Crockett Coffee. But you know what else everybody out there is going to need? Testosterone to get you through the week. A week, 6 days from now is Halloween. Then we've got the election on November 5th. Lots of activities going on. If you are feeling down, if you don't feel like you have the energy that you used to, how about all natural male vitality stack from Chalk that can proven in studies to replenish 20% of your diminished testosterone in 3 months? Chalk, manufactured right here in the good old USA, all natural herbal supplements, clinically proven to have game-changing effects on your energy, your focus, and your mood. You can get hooked up right now. Check it out, choq.com. In October, every new subscription gets a free surprise product on top of a massive lifetime discount when you use my name, Clay, when you sign up. That's chalk.com, choq.com. Put some testosterone back in your life. Don't be like Joe Biden or all those beta Democrats out there. Be a man with testosterone. You can also, if you want to talk to a live person, 50 Chalk 3000 right now. Say Clay and Buck sent me 50 Chalk 3000. Get hooked up today. That's 50 Chalk 3000.